4 white ones here have really cool chippy paint on them. They're a little dirty, so I have to clean them up. But those are going to be my legs. I'll probably chop them down to about 36 inches long. Alright, these pieces right here and the pieces over here are going to make up my top. These will be the flat part of the top, and these will be the little surrounds. Those are actually old pieces of tongue and groove flooring I picked up. I guess someone was redoing their house, and that should look really cool when it's sanded up and oiled up or whatever I end up doing to finish it. Should look pretty cool. These 3 pieces right here are going to be supports for the top and a shelf. They have a little groove routed in them. I'm assuming that was some type of shipping crate where it had like strapping on it. And then these pieces right here are chopped down from a pallet project I was doing a while back. I actually made a video that shows how to make a doormat using pallet wood and zip ties, and these were some pieces I had left over, so those would be really cool for the shelf. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get these pieces cleaned up and chopped down to size, and then I can start kind of figuring out all of my framing. Alright, so check it out. That cleaned up really nice. It's actually exactly what I wanted. I wanted all the dirt and like kind of growth on there to be gone, but to leave the chippy paint. So I used one of these little scratchy pads that's designed for taking off. It's supposed to like strip paint, but it didn't really take the paint, just the stuff I actually wanted. So, you know, kind of looked like that. Just rubbed it on and all that raw wood got exposed, but the paint stayed. So that's going to look really awesome once I clear coat it later. Alright, so since I'm using found wood, I'm just kind of placing everything together to see what kind of sizes I can work with. And the very first thing I found out when I slid all of my pieces together, the tongue and groove, is that you can kind of see there's a couple of spots where there's some gaps, and I don't really want that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and run these boards through my table saw and get rid of all the tongues so that they all will sit nice and flush against each other. And then I can lay them back down here without gaps and figure out exactly how big my cross supports are going to be and all that, so I can actually put that frame together. So let me go ahead and slice them up. Alright, so I got everything cut for the top so that I can test fit it a lot better now. So my legs are 36 inches long. Cleaned all the gunk off of them. They're going to look good. The top, I cut the tongues off of all those boards so they fit a little better. There's still a little bit of gap, but it's not too bad. I'm pretty sure that once I screw the boards down, they won't be that bad. Alright, so you can kind of see here on the sides, it's going to cover up everything, but on the ends here, I thought it'd be kind of cool that the top boards would be exposed. So I just cut this one to fit so that it met the bottom of that, but all that's kind of exposed. I thought that was just a cool little detail. So now I just got to do the supports, so that's what that board is there. I just need to chop it to the length that fits from inside this edge board here to the inside over there. I'll cut 3 of them, so that will be screwed to the legs there, screwed to the legs here, and then I'll have one right here in the middle that will be screwed to these outer boards, and then all of my top boards will be screwed down and supported to those. Alright, so that's what's going to hold those into place. And then of course this board here will be screwed into the leg there, and then these end boards here will be screwed into the legs there too. They're more like trim pieces. They don't really support much except for that middle board there. Alright, then for the shelf, it's going to be kind of backwards of that. So it'll be the same type of wood, but it's going to come across here on the inside of both of these legs, and then they'll just be topped with slats. Real simple. So anyway, I'll go ahead and start chopping them up, get it all test fitted, make sure it's going to work. And once I know that, then I can sand it and finish it and put it all together. It should be pretty cool. Alright, so I got it all test fitted together and I think it looks pretty good. It all fits, so it's ready to get finished up. But I just really like the look it has going on now. I'm hoping after I put finish on there that it still has the same kind of mismatched reclaimed wood look to it, mixed with those found pieces with the white chippy paint. This has that really cool kind of, you know, looks like something you pulled out of a barn or something. So I really like that look. Even seeing like the old tongue and groove sections here on the side, it's kind of a cool detail, as well as all those holes I had drilled in these pallet wood pieces from experimenting with building that doormat a while back. So anyway, now that I'm going to finish it, I've decided how I'm going to do it. My top pieces here, I need to sand them nice and smooth, slightly round over the edges to keep them from being splintery. I need to sand these trim pieces on the side and also all the slats, and then I'm going to oil them with mineral oil so they actually are food safe in case someone wanted to prep with this. Alright, like in a kitchen. But the frame piece that goes across here and then the three pieces underneath, you can kind of see them there. I think I'm just going to protect those with some clear spray paint clear coat. Just keep it real simple. And then I'm going to go ahead and screw all these down. I know that's not the right way because they could split and crack over time. I'm going to screw those down as well. But it's kind of whole, you know, part of this style of just being an old, simple, like a barn find type piece. So it's not supposed to be all fancy. It's supposed to be just super simple. So let me go ahead and finish this thing up, get it sanded nice and smooth, oil it, and it should look pretty awesome. Alright, so my frame is clear coated. I have oil on all of my wood pieces that need to go back on. So I'm starting here at the shelf, all these slats. I was going to use these 1.5 inch long screws, but I noticed as I was putting them in that my wood was starting to split. I had pre-drilled some holes. Maybe they weren't quite big enough. I don't know. I didn't want to have to open them up and go through them all. So I think I'm going to go kind of old school. I'm just going to use some of these ring shank nails I have. And I just put a single nail in the center of each of these to hold it down, to give it that kind of old look, a little bit mismatched like the rest of it. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I'll put nails here. Up top though, I might still use screws because those are pretty heavy duty boards, and I just don't know if these little rinky-dink nails are going to hold those down. Alright, all my slats are now mounted with the nails. I like that, kind of an old school look. Looks pretty cool. So now for the top, I'm trying to decide how I'm going to mount them, and the more I was thinking about it, the less I like the idea of just putting screws straight through the top. I mean, it does keep it simple, but I'm trying to make this look decent. You know, I want it to look okay, and I think it might actually function a little better, especially if I sell it as a kitchen island. If it did not have screws here, that might be kind of a turn off for some people. So what I decided to do was to use these little brackets. I think they're about 1 inch long on each side, 1/2 inch wide, just a single hole on each end, and they're getting mounted like that, okay? Just kind of basically right in the middle of the board on that end, and then also here on that end. And I got some for here in the middle, but I'm thinking I'm not going to mount them. That way maybe the wood will have just a little bit of wiggle room to move around if it wants to as seasons change. So what I'm doing is clamping the boards down so it's nice and tight, because they, you know, they do have a little wiggle to them, so keeps them nice and tight. And then just mounting them with that. And my thinking is, and it may be totally wrong, but I think that since there's just a single screw, there might be a slight chance of a little bit of movement side to side if the wood wants to expand, at least more so than if it's had a screw straight down through it from the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. It keeps it simple, you know, it's nothing fancy, but I think it'll look a lot better and it'll function better. So let me finish doing the other half of these, and I'll show you what the table looks like when it's all finished. Alright, check it out. Here it is all finished. This thing turned out really cool. So start with the top. Got those old floorboards. It used to be tongue and groove flooring. I'm not sure what type of wood. It might just be pine, but I don't really know. But I kept the ends exposed so you could see it. I thought that was a cool little detail. It gives it that kind of old-fashioned, low-tech, homemade look to it. And then I sanded them nice and smooth with 80 grit, and then 120, and then 220, so they're super nice and smooth. And then I sealed it with mineral oil to keep them food safe. And I'm very happy that I did not put the screws right through the top. That would have been simple, but it wouldn't have looked as good. And it's a little more functional, so if you do prep food, you're not going to get gunk in there. I think that'll work a little better. Then down here in the storage shelf, built out of pallet wood, I just nailed them on and used mineral oil, so it has a lighter brown look. And then those nail heads is just a cool little detail on it. And then of course the legs, built out of found wood that used to be some sort of railing, so that you can see where the spindles used to be. It has all that chippy paint. I just think those look really cool. Definitely an old, one-of-a-kind look. Once it was all put together, I thought it needed a little something extra, so I put 2 hooks on each end for a little more storage. Sort of that octopus-shaped hook. It's real common. You can find just about anywhere. They come in all sorts of colors, but I went with like an antique brass color to go with the whole vintage look. I think that turned out pretty cool. Adds a little extra function to it. And then, like I said, when I built it, I didn't really have any plans or anything. I just kind of used the wood as is. But if you're curious on dimensions, mine ended up being about 21 inches deep, 46 inches long, and 37 inches tall, which is perfect for a kitchen island. But someone might even buy it and use it as like a stand-up desk or something. It would work great there too. One more thing is, whenever I was sealing that wood, I said I used mineral oil. I mean, you could go find a nice butcher block oil or a fancy mineral oil, but since I was keeping the build simple and everything kind of low tech, I did try to not use anything too fancy when I was building it. I decided to use this mineral oil. I found this at Walmart. It was only like $2 or $3 for this bottle. As you can see, it's a laxative. This is like from the dietary section. And basically, it's food safe. It has no smell. It doesn't go rancid. And it works great on something like this. You just put it on maybe once or twice a month, and that's enough to keep it, moisturized. So anyway, that is how my little scrap wood kitchen island turned out. It's a really simple build, and I think it turned out really cool.